Hello everyone, I'm Zeenat Firdaus. I have Dr. Sukant Khurana with me, who is a well-known entrepreneur, mentor, public speaker, and a scientist. Welcome you, sir.
Thank you, Zina. Thank you for having me here.
So I have a question for you. So tell me please that how to make a good resume.
Excellent question. I think that's starting point for seeing whether people are suitable or not. Um, I will go about the do's and don'ts. Uh, First, commonest thing I see is not right formatting, excessively long resumes. Um, I see grammatical errors; they should be avoided. I also see often that, especially youngsters, leave out their unpaid work, other things which can contribute to evaluating how they may be extremely suitable for work. Another common mistake is exaggerating the truth, whether it's professional achievement, and often words which don't mean too much. It's usually good to demonstrate, led a team of XYZ, rather than saying I have great leadership skills and so on and so forth, right? And in several countries, especially in Canada, I and me are often down upon in resume. A third person resume written very objectively is preferred. In US, UK, I've seen both the formats, has done right, and we're not looking for long essays, right? Conducted a workshop of 400 people. That's what we are looking for. Not too many bullet points. If you have done quite a lot, let's say you have a lot of age in terms of number of years, somebody in my category, where you might have 20 years of science career behind them. I can't write things on my resume like I attended this conference. I would not be writing the, you know, 200 plus talks I've given, or multiple blogs or video blogs, or even all the research papers. It'll run into hundreds, right? So you have to summarize what you've done. There are special differences whether you're sending a resume for a legal profession, for data scientist, for a academic positions. There are differences, but fundamentally you should have your name, contact information written very clearly. Have your email, which is professional. It should not be somebody like Big Boxer 24 or Cutie Pie 17 at gmail.com. You may have various nice emails for your personal use. Don't put them there on a professional. Professional emails should have ideally your full name or name in some combination, if at all digits are needed. So include professional emails. Um, as I said, no long descriptions. Also know that the amount of space you dedicate to something should be proportional to what the relevance to an employer is. A common mistake I've seen, something that most employers, at least good employers, not every country has majority good employers, but good employers are not often interested in knowing what your religion is, who you're married to, if you're married or not, whether you have kids or not, right? We are trying to hire you based on your professional abilities. So I see half of the resumes that especially I've seen in India being useless, right? Saying married, if my or not married, or kids or this or that. Sometimes even resumes include, maybe because of lack of opportunities, reasons why somebody left a previous job. We're not asking for reasons. This is to showcase your strengths, right? This is not a detailed explanation. Most places will not want references unless somebody is interested. Let's say if I get a resume, unless I'm interested in hiring a person and taking the conversation further, I'm not necessarily interested in knowing who their references are, unless the reference might be, let's say, Jeff Bezos is willing to recommend you. Maybe that you should put on your resume, or a Nobel laureate backs you. Maybe then it's a very impressive thing, and I might be interested in knowing why, right? But otherwise, you have a previous employer, startup, multinational corporation, good scientist, good advocate. That comes later. If I'm impressed with your resume, then that's a later bridge. That's not an immediate thing, right? So the other common mistake I see is mention of lot of hobbies. Um, Good, let's say somebody is a good dancer, swimmer, equestrian, right? Or you like to read books or whatnot. But frankly, from an employer's point of view, we want to have an honest picture. If you're applying for, let's say, a 20-hour job or a 40-hour job, what will you do? Will you do it well? Does your previous thing demonstrate it? If you're looking for you to be member of, let's say, some important thing in a startup or a company which is very design centric, innovative company, uh, do we see your personality as a good mix? And instead of necessarily you stating, demonstrating, right? One thing which I often see missing is people just simply sending the same resume everywhere. I have, as I am involved in multiple businesses, seen the same person's resume ill designed for three different vacancies that eventually came to me. It was put on my desk, and I realized it's in the same day, same person, three vacancies, no customization, right? Tells you there is no sincere effort, right? So if the position says, let's say, for example, right now we are interested in having people work on epilepsy research, right? If somebody says, I've worked on this biomedical sector, but I'm really passionate about epilepsy research, that one line will make somebody stand apart, because I know they at least read the advertisement either for a job or for an intern or for a trainee or for a volunteer, whatever I'm advertising for. If at the other end I see sincerity, okay, I see effort put in to actually perform, right? That tells me this person is going to be somebody worth interacting with, maybe worth hiring. So that slight amount of personalization makes a massive difference whether you get hired or not. So that's a very strong advice, whichever position you're applying for. Do customize things, do say whether you're interested in something or not. Then also, very important, do not include every trivial thing, right? I mean, there's so many school competitions, college competitions. Unless they're building up to something, and not saying don't include a lot of important ones, but don't include trivial ones. If you want to say that you were always passionate about science, let's say the last time I sent resume was 6, 7 years ago. Now, if somebody asks me send your resume, first of all, I'm not applying for anything. I'm offering people jobs. I would rather say just Google me, right? I've transcended the resume stage. But let's say if I were to take a formal position in some academic institute in addition to running multiple businesses, I may still need to create my resume. In that case, I might say, you know, won several uh, prizes, including top debating quiz competitions. Starting from my high school, won the UN General Knowledge Quiz, global gold medalist, and then whatever. And then from college, won several things, and then won these fellowships for PhD. But it'll be summarized in one. I'll not be writing, you know, the 70 or 80 things that I had in my school, right, to add on this. And in fact, even that looks trivial. If your real achievement is, let's say, look at resume of Elon Musk, obviously, um, it'll be dream to be that kind of resume, right? Build boring company, acquired Tesla, transformed it, something like that. People are looking for what value you add. Nobody is looking for long description. Nobody is looking for your personal status. At least good employers are not wanting to know what you eat, who you pray to, who you live with, what your political beliefs are, right? In fact, if you're providing that information, you're adding to biases. And unless the job really requires some certain languages, let's say, like presently I'm sitting in India, I'm obviously I'm looking for most of the work in English, but let's say if somebody thinks that their knowledge of Malayalam or Tamil is useful, let's say locally if I'm hiring somebody in South India, put it. But if you don't think it's going to be relevant to job, this is again not showcasing how multicultural you are in terms of your languages also, right? So CV should be brief, often people I hire actually they send me resumes which are 1 page or 2 page, and especially in engineering field, I then go and look at their GitHub profile. I look how well they even not just how well their code works, what projects are there, how much is original, very easy to find out, how much is well documented, right? Are they systematic workers or not? If there is somebody I'm hiring as a drug discovery scientist, I'll go read their papers if they are not beginner level, right? If they're beginner level, I would want to know the tools they know. Once you're beyond the beginner level, people are more interested in your not just what you've learned, is your understanding of how new learning, unlearning happens, right? And think about different stages. Once you're a bit senior, people are appreciating not just your role as an individual advocate, physician, uh, scientist, an engineer or whatever. I paint, I will say, like I also communicate through means of visual art, having exhibited in several places internationally, right? Or create music and whatnot, right? I'll write it as one line. I will not give a laundry list of a lot of things I've done. I may say that I have written multiple news articles, created various blogs to communicate science, right? X number, that's it, right? Just so I think summary is what people are looking at. If the summary is impressive, people will dive in, and resume is a point to open the doors for interview. This is not the whole interview. And excessively long documents with excessive unnecessary thing, with spelling mistakes, grammatical mistakes, funny fonts being different across, cursive fonts, right? Imagine the misery of somebody like me who's dealing with hundreds of people, right? If from a single day, in addition to doing so much work, if I'm going through 30 resumes or 40 resumes, and out of them one is in a very cursive font, and I'm trying to figure out words, obviously that, you know, becomes less of a priority than somebody who's got a straightforward resume, right? And secondly, now a lot of resumes are being sorted by AI. So I think people or everyone should do a bit of Google search, do some internet search, and find out how AI could be eliminating your resume, and it may not even get to management. At IMQ, we are not currently running such a large company. We're still dealing with hundreds of people, but we are not as of yet that large that we will simply screen everything with AI. We are still doing it manually, despite being an AI company, but we are considering to take that up as a next step. So I think it's important to see, obviously, an employer, at least any smart, conscientious employer, would want to have an AI which is not discriminating, because people have found that there has been AI which has been, because of the data set used to train neural networks, which has been biased against hiring women, especially people of color, and women of color even more so. Obviously, the goal is to provide opportunities and use the only criteria for hiring should be merit in any circumstance. For a private company, it should not even be need, because that's government's prerogative, right? So even when AI is deployed, let's say the AI is good, but if your resume is written in an odd manner, it may get rejected, it may get put on a second priority. So please also look for things, but I have, I think, covered most important points, what we want to hear. And resume is not your motivation letter, right? This is not, resume is different than the letter you are going to write in case somebody is looking, especially graduate school, look for the letters, right? Statement of purpose. So don't make your resume a statement of purpose. If at all you want to say three things, four things in the beginning, you can say, I am passionate about this, and most of my career has been centered around this, and the additional things have been these two, which complement my, let's say you are a healthcare professional. You say, I'm a healthcare professional, but my career has been uh, centered around formal education, work experience of that. But in addition, I have sought legal training to further this, management training to further my main interest, and that gives me a better grasp of doing things, and I have played a role in not just in healthcare. As a professional, I've played a role in policy making or management. Write that 1 or 2 lines and then let your work show it. So they can be summary, but it should not be a story. Summary should not be confused for a story. I hope this long answer helps people write a better resume.
Yeah, definitely. It was helpful, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Anyone who is interested in free training provided by IronCure can apply at volunteer@IronCureRx.com. Thank you.